If you've ever had a buyer ask what happens next, or a seller forget the one thing you needed today, this video is for you. I'm going to show you how I use app reminders like a project management system for my real estate clients. So every transaction has a process, every deadline is tracked, and clients feel confident because they can see the steps too. Most agents don't lose deals because they're bad at real estate. They lose control because there's no system. A buyer process and a seller process give you consistency, fewer steps are missed, and a stronger client experience. It also positions you like a pro because you're not reacting, you're leading. We're going to head straight into this tutorial, and I'm going to explain what you're seeing on screen. For the purpose of this demonstration, I've already built out the buyer's process. If you're interested in using this system for your buyer and seller clients, please use the link in the comments or description box and subscribe to receive both buyer and seller processes. Now, if you want to build these out yourself in reminders, I will share a quick walkthrough of how you can get that done. And I'm just going to assume or presume that you are not fully acquainted with reminders and you're just trying to get your feet wet. I do have other tutorials that you can look at. They are not necessarily real estate specific, but they will give an overview as to how you can use reminders. Now, I've already gone ahead and I've created a group list called Real Estate Agent Client Processes. And within this list, I have buyers, sellers, renters, but we're just focusing on buyers and sellers for the video. I do have a dummy client called Grace Walker, and if I expand this option here, it reveals what the process looks like. I did leave a note here. It says notes for this shared list, and this is when you are sharing this with your buyers. This is what they're going to see to sort of guide them throughout this process. It says this is our shared buyer process. I'll check items off as we complete them so you always know what's happening next. If anything needs your action, I'll tag it as your action needed in the title so it stands out. So there is a lot going on here. It is going to become clear. Now, the first part of the buyer's process is the Welcome Plus game plan. And when I collapse this menu, expand, it has different subtasks. So there's a kickoff call, there's a confirm your goals, explain the full buying process, confirm how we'll communicate, and all the good stuff. As you get these things done, you are going to check these off. And as you can see, it disappears once I've checked these off. Now, if you don't want them to disappear, you're going to go ahead and show completed. And I'm just going to untick that. So these are the processes you'll take the buyer through in the welcome process. And then there's the financing ready. And I have a list of subtasks in this section as well. Lender selected, pre-approval, review estimated monthly payment, confirm down payment. Then we have home search setup, and we have 6 subtasks within this umbrella. Must-haves list finalized, nice-to-haves finalized, tour plus decide, showing scheduled, showing itinerary shared, tour homes. We have offer prep. We have under contract, 10 different subtasks. We have pre-closing, receive and review closing disclosure, confirm final numbers and cash to close. We have closing day, final walkthrough completed, closing appointment completed, keys delivered, celebrate your new home. And then we have after closing or care plus support. So this is pretty much you building that relationship to show your client that you care about him or her, and you're looking pretty much sticking around hoping that they have someone ready to refer for business. So this is what the buyer's process looks like. Now, I did start with the seller process. I did not complete this all the way through, but the idea is similar. Certain steps will just be different. Now, like I've mentioned, I'm going to have this all prepared and ready for you to use. So if you would like these processes in your reminders account, I can share them with you, but you would most certainly need to let me know if you're interested by subscribing. So I'll have your information to send this to. If you want to get the hands-on experience and want to just do this on your own, I am going to share with you how you can go about adding these to reminders. And I'm just collapsing these so it's easier to maneuver. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is, if you're creating this on your own, is to ensure that you create a list. Since I've already created buyers and sellers list, I'm going to just name this buyers 1 and sellers 1 to differentiate or distinguish from what I already created. And of course, choose your color. You can choose an icon, that good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and save. So I have buyers 1 created, and I'm just going to create another one for seller. If you're interested in renting, you can do that as well. Now, to create a group, or if you want to leave it as is, that is fine. But I have mine in a group because I find that groups categorize and organize your list properly, especially if you have a lot of things going on in your reminders app. So to create a group, you would simply drag one list into the other and then name it buyer and sellers process. And that's it. Now, the step that I have here, the person's name, of course, you're going to want to name your buyers because that is how you're going to differentiate them. You would simply create a section for this. So you would simply go to this and it would automatically give you a section. And this section is going to be called Samantha Boris. And within this section, you're just going to start adding your process to it. I started out with the welcome game plan, and I'm just going to continue on this note. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill this out so that you have an understanding of what it is that you need to do. I'm going to speed this up because I do not want this video to become too long. Okay, so I now have all the reminders populated for the Welcome Plus game plan. Now what I'm going to do is to add these as subtask. I'm going to hold and select everything, and then I'm going to right click on my mouse and I'm going to indent 5 reminders. And as you can see, they are now a part of this option. So typically this is what you do, and you would just continue the process until all the processes are listed out, all the steps are listed out that you would typically tackle when you're dealing with your buyer clients. So now that you know how to create list and section in reminders, this is where things get interesting, because we're going to transform it into a real project management tool. And to do this, we're going to incorporate tags. Now, tags are how you create dashboards in reminders. They are there to categorize different things, and it's just great for filtering when you're ready to find stuff. Now, to create a tag, you can simply click on a reminder and use the pound sign or hashtag sign, and you're going to give it a name. For your buyers and sellers workflow, you can use tags called client action, waiting on, deadline, internal. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to create those tags. Client action, this is anything the client would need to do, and as you can see, once the tag is created, it turns into something of a hyperlink. I'm going to finish the rest. Internal. So these are 4 tags for the buyer and seller workflow, and what these do is to help you to identify certain things. So if a task is tagged with client action, then your buyer is going to know that this is something they would definitely need to do. For example, a task like this could look like internal, and this task where it says confirm how we'll communicate, this could be a client action. Just select that, and this says share your home search plan plus showing schedule, and this of course again is client action. So anything I'm waiting on gets tagged. Anything the client needs to do gets tagged. Now I can filter my entire business by what matters today, and that's what we're going to do next. I'm going to share with you how you can make use of these tags, or how you can put these tags to work within your workflow. So I am back with my old buyers process, as you can see, and this is because I have a lot more to work with, a longer list to work with than the one I created on screen. Now, what you did not see me do off camera is to go through this and just add a few tags. These are the same tags I introduced you to before: the client action, the waiting on, the deadlines, the internal. You know those tags. What we would do right now is to create smart list, and smart list are the dashboards. I like to think of smart list as a way to surface what it is that you have going on in your project management system. So this is how you stop digging through lists and start managing like a project manager. Instead of finding those tasks or going for those tasks, they would actually come to you. So this is what we're going to do to set things up. To create a smart list, we're going to go to this icon, and I'm just going to name this client action dashboard. So this dashboard would pretty much show me what it is that my client needs to work on or has to work on. So I'm going to choose a smart list. This is very important. If this is left as a standard list, it will not work. It has to be a smart list. You can add an icon, change colors, whatever it is. Now, what we're going to do now is to set the rules for our smart list. And for the client action dashboard, I'm simply going to ask this smart list to present or to showcase anything with the client action tag, because that is what my client would be working on. So tag all selected, I'm going to use I'm going to use any selected, and I'm going to search for the client action, and I'm just going to hit OK. And as you can see, my client action dashboard or list has been created, and you will note that everything my client needs to do was added to this list. I like to have these lists front and center, so usually I pin these so that I can access it at the very top, and this is it right here. The next list I'm going to create is a waiting on dashboard and a deadlines dashboard. I'm just going to speed through this because the process is simply the same. I am going to filter this again by the waiting on tag, and I'm going to hit OK. As you can see, it added 6 different tasks to my waiting on dashboard. The next tag is deadlines dashboard. And this showcases anything with a deadline. Smart list. Going to create the tag. So this has a deadline attached to it, and that is how it will filter it. Now you could get a bit more complex, and instead of using a deadline tag, you could set up a priority and a date smart list. So anything with a date would essentially be placed in this segment, and I'm just going to share with you how this would work out. So instead of filtering by tags, you would filter by a date. And it depends. The date could be today, the date could be on a particular date, it could be before a date, it could be after a date, it could be a specified range or a relative date. This could be in the next year, for example, or in the next month, and it would present these. Now these are things that I have working on for my stuff, so to narrow this down, I would most certainly have to add another tag to it so as not to present other items from other projects. Let's go back and let's add something else to this. Let's add another rule. We could add a list, so we could include a list here, and we could say, for example, anything from buyers, and that's what would be presented here. So now you have a real-time view of what the client owes you, what it is that you're waiting on, and what's really time sensitive, and this pretty much helps you control the transaction. So you might be wondering what it is that you need to do when a new buyer comes in. No worries, you don't have to rebuild anything. You can simply duplicate the template and rename it, and this is what makes reminders a great tool to use, because you don't have to always be building from scratch. Simply create a copy or a duplicate of it, and then you can have it to use for other buyer clients. Now to do this, I am going to go to File, and I'm going to click Save as Template. Now before saving as a template, you need to ensure that the list you want to save is selected. In this case, I want to save the buyer's process, so I have that selected, and I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to save as template, and I'm going to call this the buyer process template, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save this. Now, let's say, for example, a new client comes in and you want to create the same process, the same buyer's process, but you simply want to add a different name. You're going to go to file again, and this is if you're working on your MacBook. The settings look a little different when you're working on your iPad or your phone, so bear that in mind. You're going to go to view templates, and you're going to select the buyer process template, and you're going to create, and you can always rename this. Once you have your buyer and seller processes done, the next step is to share the benefits with your clients. And what I'm talking about, you will be sharing the process or the list that you've created specifically for that particular client. And this is where the client experience upgrades. So they can see what's happening, they can see what's next, and they can also see what you're working on. Now, this reduces anxiety and it cuts down the 21 or repetitive questions, and it makes the whole transaction feel guided. So here's how we are going to share this. You're going to ensure that the list is selected, and you're going to go ahead and click share, and of course you are going to send this to the person. Now, my husband is listed here, so I'm going to share it with him. And that's how it works. You know, if they can complete their task on their end, like uploading documents, confirming a walkthrough time, or acknowledging next steps, this means you won't be chasing across 5 different apps. It's not about replacing how you communicate, but it's all about keeping the transaction organized where the process lives. If you want my exact buyer and seller templates, I'll share them with you. Use a link in the description to sign up or to subscribe, and I'll send the templates to you so you can load them into app reminders and start using them immediately. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope the content provided some value. Please don't forget to subscribe if you're not yet a subscriber, and I will see you in the next video.